It is time for the moment we've all been waiting for. This is break 1402, the 2020 Prizm football, and it's pick your team plus serial filler. Let's see how many times we're going to randomize these serials. 7 times. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there we have it. Alrighty. Yeah, I don't really have a choice, Haley. That is a good point. 12 cards per pack, 12 packs per box. Haley's getting the filler 0, CEO with 1, T-Man with 2, Haley with 3, Jack with 4, Mitch with 5, Michael with 6, and Chris with 7, Brett with 8, and T-Man with 9. 2, 4, 6. 2, 4, 6. Chad Johnson of the Bengals, Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Dolphins, Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Dolphins, and that is going to be number 12 right there. So that is going to T-Man. Followed up by Harold Landry of the Titans, Michael Strahan of the Giants, Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs, Montez Sweat of the Washington football team, Bobby Wagner of the Seahawks, Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Adrian Amos of the Green Bay Packers, and holy heck, we're going to have our auto right off the bat. You have 8. Because we start with 0, so Haley has the number 1 on the randomization, 0 of the thing. Adrian Amos of the Green Bay Packers, and then we're going to have a Jalen Rager RC of the Philadelphia Eagles. And that is going to Brett Diddley, Brett. Followed up by a Jeff Gladney RC of the Minnesota Vikings, going to Haley. And then here we go. It is going to be a Darrington Evans of the Tennessee Titans. Darrington Evans of the Tennessee Titans right there. And that is going to be a Red Rave out of 149, 38 out of 149. And that is going to Cynthia. It is really just Cynthia's night. We have Minkah Fitzpatrick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's 69, which means that's going to be going to T-Man, followed by Charles Woodson of the Oakland Raiders, Jim McMahon of the Bears, DeMarcus Lawrence of the Cowboys, Chandler Jones of the Arizona Cardinals, DK Metcalf of the Seahawks, Cam Jordan of the Saints, Alan Lazard of the Green Bay Packers, a hype Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans to Spangs. And then we're going to have the orange, and that's going to be out of 249. Marlon Mack of the Indianapolis Colts going to Mr. CEO, followed up by a LaMichael Perrine RC of the New York Jets going to Brendan. And then we have a KJ Hamler RC of the Denver Broncos, and that's number 315, which means it's going to be going to Mitch. Gardner Minshew of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's going to be 92. So that is going to be heading to T-Man. Followed up by CJ Uzma of the Cincinnati Bengals, Cortland Sutton of the Broncos, Hunter of Cortland Sutton of the Broncos, and that's going to be number 111. So that is going to Mr. CEO. Hunter Renfrow of the Raiders, Khalil Mack of the Bears, Amari Cooper of the Dallas Cowboys, Kyler Murray of the Cardinals, Dante Culpepper of the Vikings, and then we're going to have the silver, Stephon Diggs of the Buffalo Bills headed to Brendan, and then the blue cracked ice, Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints headed to Cynthia, and that is going to be out of 99. That's number 81 out of 99 right there. And then we have a... Sorry, that was my fault. Then we have a Henry Ruggs of the Las Vegas Raiders headed to Jacob, followed by Willie Gay Jr. of the Kansas City Chiefs, and that is going to T-Man. Josh Norman of the Buffalo Bills, followed by Juju Smith-Schuster of the Steelers, and that's going to be 66, which means that is heading to Michael. Followed up by Rashaan Evans of the Tennessee Titans, Delvin Tomlinson of the New York Giants, McCole Hardman of the Chiefs, George Kittle of the 49ers, Ian Thomas of the Carolina Panthers. Then we have Chris Carson of the Seattle Seahawks, followed by a brilliance, Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers going to Haley. And then we're going to have a purple KJ Hamler, and that is going to be out of 49, and it is going to be 7, or out of 125. Sorry, my mistake there. And that is going to be 7 out of 125, which means that is going to be going to Chris. Followed up by Thaddeus Moss of the Washington football team going to Haley, and then Quez Watkins of the Philadelphia Eagles going to Brett Diddley, Brett. Stephon Gilmore of the Patriots, Laramie Tunsil of the Texans, Bryce Love of the Washington football team, followed by Keelan Doss of the Raiders, Eddie Jackson of the Bears, Blake Jarwin of the Cowboys, Chris Godwin of the Buccaneers, followed up by Preston Smith of the Green Bay Packers, DJ Moore of the Carolina Panthers, and then we're going to have the Hyper, and that's going to be out of 175, and that's Mr. Thaddeus Moss of the Washington football team, and that is 30 out of 175, heading to Haley, followed up by Javon Kinlaw of the San Francisco 49ers going to Mitch, and Antonio Gibson of the Washington football team, and that is headed to Haley. Hollywood Brown of the Ravens, DJ Chark of the Jaguars, and that is going to be 95, so that means it's heading to Mitch. Followed up by Brian Dawkins of the Eagles, Terrell Williams of the Raiders, Larry Fitzgerald of the San Francisco 49ers, or Jerry Rice of the 49ers, Demario Davis of the Saints, Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers, DeAndre Hopkins of the Arizona Cardinals. Then we have a emergent Cam Akers of the Los Angeles Rams, and that is going to Cynthia. Followed by a Jonathan Ogden, and that is going to be the Blue Wave out of 199 of the Baltimore Ravens, and that's 103 out of 199 going to Haley. Followed by Raekwon Davis, RC of the Miami Dolphins, and that is going to be number 341, which means it's headed to Mr. CEO. Followed by Justin Jefferson, RC of the Minnesota Vikings, going to Haley. Ken Anderson of the Bengals. Mike Gesicki of the Dolphins. That's going to be number 13, which means it is going to Haley. Followed by Frank Clark of the Kansas City Chiefs. Jonathan Allen of the Washington football team. Mike Williams of the Chargers, and that is going to be number 140, so that is going to Haley. Followed up by Marvin Jones of the Detroit Lions. Aeneas Williams of the Cardinals. Then we have Todd Gurley of the Falcons. Nick Bosa of the 49ers. A lockdown, Brian Urlacher of the Chicago Bears, going to Brett Diddley, Brett. Followed up by a Nate Stanley, RC of the Minnesota Vikings, going to Haley. And Brett, you asked for a rookie QB there he is. Just kidding, I know that's not the one we want. And then a Detroit Lion, Jacob Pino of the DeAndre Swift. We have Devin Bush II of the Pittsburgh Steelers, followed up by Willie McGinnis of the New England Patriots. Then we have Jalen Smith of the Dallas Cowboys, followed up by Drew Lock of the Denver Broncos, Zach Ertz of the Philadelphia Eagles, Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints, TJ Hawkinson of the Detroit Lions. And sorry, I have that. Got to go check that Drew Lock. Sorry about the Broncos there. Drew Lock, and that's going to be 113, and that is heading to Haley. TJ Hawkinson of the Detroit Lions, Zadarius Smith of the Green Bay Packers, Byron Murphy of the Cardinals, and then we're going to have the orange, Jason Huntley, and that is going to be out of 249 of the Detroit Lions, going to Jacob. Followed up by an Albert Okwebuna of the Denver Broncos, RC, and that is going to be 316, which means that's going to Michael. Then we have Brian Edwards of the Las Vegas Raiders, and that is going to be going to Jacob. Geno Atkins of the Bengals, followed by Tyrann Mathieu of the Chiefs, Zeke Elliott of the Cowboys, Javon Curse of the Titans, Alshon Jeffrey of the Eagles, Calvin Ridley of the Falcons, Deebo Samuel of the 49ers, Brian Burns of the Panthers. We have the silver Chase Young, RC of the Washington football team, going to Haley. Then we're going to have the green scope Trey White of the Buffalo Bills headed to Brendan, and that is out of 75. Followed up by Julian Blackman of the Indianapolis Colts headed to Mr. CEO, and Zach Bond of the New Orleans Saints going to Cynthia. Going to Cynthia. Definitely a tad worried about Chase Young this weekend. We have Bruce Smith of the Buffalo Bills, James Conner of the Steelers. That's going to be number 67, heading to Chris. Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs, Ryan Kerrigan of the Washington football team, Keenan Allen of the Chargers, and that is going to be number 139, going to T-Man. Followed by KJ White of the Seahawks to Double M. Then we have Mr. Tom Brady of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, followed by Kenny Clark of the Green Bay Packers. And boom goes the dynamite. It is an emergent Joey Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals, and that is going to AJ. The Spangarang. And then we're going to have a red Matthew Stafford of the Detroit Lions going to a Jacob, and that is going to be out of 149, the red wave right there. Followed up by a Michael Warren II of the Philadelphia Eagles going to Brett Diddley, Brett. And then we have Jermichael Hasty of the 49ers going to Mitch. Devin McCourty of the Patriots, Andre Johnson of the Texans, Kenny Golladay of the Detroit Lions, Lane Vander Esch of the Cowboys, Noah Fant of the Denver Broncos, and that's number 112, which means that's going to T-Man. Carson Wentz of the Philadelphia Eagles, Patrick Peterson of the Cardinals, followed up by Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons, Marshawn Lattimore of the Saints, Darnell Savage of the Packers. And then we're going to have a Panini Rewards 600 points that we will be randomizing here at the end. Followed up by Julian Okwara of the Detroit Lions, headed to Jacob. And then we have Mr. Donovan Peoples-Jones of the Cleveland Browns. Donovan Peoples-Jones of the Cleveland Browns, and that is going to be going to T-Man. And on to our last pack in this one. Mark Ingram of the Baltimore Ravens, Keenan Cole of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's number 96, which means it's going to be going to Michael. Followed up by Roquan Smith of the Chicago Bears, Dak Prescott of the Cowboys, Kenyon Drake of the Cardinals, Julio Jones of the Falcons, Jimmy Garoppolo of the 49ers, Kawan Short of the Panthers, a Fireworks Alvin Kamara of the New Orleans Saints. And then we're going to have the Blue Wave Jermichael Hasty out of 199 of the San Francisco 49ers going to Mitch right there. 155 out of 199. Then we have Jason Huntley of the Detroit Lions going to Jacob. And a Brandon Ayuk RC of the San Francisco 49ers going to Mitch. Alrighty. Well, first, we have to randomize these points. Sorry, folks, one moment. I have to take out all the serial filler spots. Not the people, but the actual where it says serial filler so that I can randomize it. One sec. Alrighty. Let's do this giveaway. Let's see how many times we're going to randomize these points. 6 times. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The points are going to Brendan. Points going to Brendan. Brendan had the Buffalo Bills in that break as one of his teams. Alrighty. Well, now let's do our rookie rundown. Brandon Ayuk of the San Francisco 49ers. Jason Huntley of the Detroit Lions. Followed up by Jermichael Hasty of the San Francisco 49ers, and that is going to be out of 199. Donovan Peoples-Jones of the Cleveland Browns, Julian Okwara of the Detroit Lions, Jermichael Hasty of the 49ers, Michael Warren of the Eagles, Zach Brown of the New Orleans Saints, Julian Blackmon of the Colts, the Silver Chase Young of the Washington Football Team, Brian Edwards of the Las Vegas Raiders, Albert Aquibana of the Denver Broncos, and that's number 316. So that is going to be going to Michael. The orange, Jason Huntley out of 249 of the Detroit Lions, DeAndre Swift of the Lions, Nate Stanley of... Nate Stanley of the Minnesota Vikings. followed by Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings, Raekwon Davis of the Miami Dolphins, and that's going to be number 341, which means that is heading to Haley. Headed to Mr. CEO, followed by an emergent Cam Akers of the Los Angeles Rams, headed to Cynthia. Antonio Gibson of the Washington Football Team going to Haley. Javon Kinlaw of the San Francisco 49ers to Mitch. Hyper Thaddeus Young Moss out of 175 of the Washington Football Team going to Haley. Quez Watkins of the Philadelphia Eagles. Thaddeus Moss of the Washington Football Team, a purple. And that is going to be out of 125, number 7 out of 125. KJ Hamler going to Chris. Followed up by Willie Gay Jr. of the Chiefs. Henry Ruggs III of the Raiders. KJ Hamler of the Denver Broncos, and that's going to be 315, and that means it's going to Mitch. LaMichael Perrine of the New York Jets going to Brendan. Jeff Gladney of the Minnesota Vikings to Haley, and Jalen Rager of the Philadelphia Eagles going to Brett Diddley, Brett. And I just threw penny sleeves all over the room.
Great time to do it.
Yeah, thank God it is the end of the night. Apparently I'm a tad tired. Alrighty, and our 2 hits in this one. We have the Joe Burrow emergent of the Cincinnati Bengals, and that is heading to Spangler. And then Darrington Evans with that red wave out of 149 auto, and that is of the Tennessee Titans heading to Cynthia. Alrighty, folks, we will be right back with our mag rundown and our Khalil Mack football giveaway.